All right, I wanted to make sure that you guys all understand this in case you were having some trouble or you missed class or you just need review of it. So, the main thing in your introduction for any essay you're going to write, it's important to catch their attention and get all the parts down that you need. Like once you get their attention, connect it to what your essay is going to be about. And that's the important part in writing any essay. All right. So when you start, you need just an outline to your paper. So in some sort of pre-writing, if you're having to write essays quickly, the outline's probably the best thing to get because it helps you. You have to process the order you're going to tell things in, and that you might end up just rearranging things. Or when you start writing it, you have more time to think about it. If you're stuck for time and you don't have time to do the brainstorming and that kind of thing, this is at least the minimum because when pre-writing you come up with ideas and you make a plan. This is the make a plan part of it, is when you get your outline. But getting to the hook, the best kind of hook you can do is an anecdote. And that is just basically telling a story. It's a one time you can use the word I. I'd say don't ever use personal pronouns in an essay unless you're using an anecdote in the hook. Then it's appropriate. So, like the example on this one is tap, tap, tap. My fingers danced across the computer keyboard, which, while attempting to distract myself from the task at hand, I pretended was a piano. This made up tune was rhythmic and catchy, but I made sure never to press hard enough on the keys to actually start typing. I remember glaring at the blank document on the screen. Now, you can take this and you can pause it, if you need to want to read the whole thing. But what I'm trying to say here is that it's like you're telling a story. It's like, wait a second, this isn't creative writing. What am I telling a story for? That's what the anecdote is. The idea is you get the reader visualizing what it is you're trying to talk about. And so telling a story is perfect for that. And so tap, 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 sensory details, and yet telling the story. Now, that's not the essay. The other option would be telling some other thing like an anecdotal hook. It's not the essay that you're writing. You're just trying to hook the reader. It's like the worm on a hook. You're just trying to hook the fish so then you catch the fish so that they want to read your paper. So some examples, and I'll give some examples that aren't so you can see the difference. So like here's one. The first time I failed the test, and it's talking about you're just telling a short story. The first time I failed the test, I sat frozen at my desk, staring at the red 52% as my classmates packed up and left. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. All I could think was, what now? Now, this is a quick personal story, and as you see, it puts it in your brain. You can visualize what's going on. You're hooked, right? Because, okay, now I want to read more. And that's the whole purpose of the hook. Now you want to read more. It creates that, curiosity to move you on. Well, a non-anecdotal one gets straight to the point, like failure is an unavoidable part of life that teaches people resilience and growth. That's the same thing we just talked about when we said the first time I failed the test, trying to get them into it. It's clear, it's direct, it's to it, but it's more formal. It's not as engaging. It's like you're writing a proposal for a money grant or something. It's not as personal. It doesn't get you into it. Okay. And that's what you want. You want your reader to get hooked into it. You don't want them to stop reading it and go do something else before they come back to your paper. You're trying to hook them into it. An anecdotal hook shows, meaning you can see it in your brain, you see it. Non-anecdotal, and the reason why they're not as good is that they tell. Now, there's all sorts of hooks. Like you can ask questions, make a definition, I'll do that. But the anecdotal one is by far the best hook. Like some of the others work, but the best hook is anecdotal. So that's what you want to practice and learn how to do. Now, if you can see on there, the anecdotal hook will drop you in the moment. It will use I sometimes, it tells a little bit of a story. Sensory details, that's how you're pulling the reader in to want to continue reading your essay. And it is by far the best way of doing it. Now, if you can see, I'm going to show you some comparisons here of the two different types, just so you can see the difference. Like what would hook you in the best? That's what we're taking a look at. Talking about technology. I didn't realize how much I depended on my phone until the day it died during a long car ride, leaving me staring out the window with nothing but my thoughts. Okay, now I'm pulled in. As opposed to The non-anecdotal hook is technology has become an essential part of everyday life. You could ask questions. That's also a hook. Whatever you put at the start, it's going to be hook. It's just what's the best hook? And as we go through some of these examples, what we're looking at is what's the best hook? All right, school pressure. At 2 o'clock a.m., I was still awake, surrounded by crumpled papers and half finished assignments, wondering if I could ever catch up. Now, this is students overwhelming pressure from schoolwork. That's the non-anecdotal one. Which one is more engaging? Now I'm just going to skip through these. You can pause to look at them if you want to see the different examples. Some of them pull you in more than others. All right, and you can just pause the video if you want to look at them to get more examples there. Yep, having trouble switching there. So as you take a look at it, what puts the picture in your brain? Is it this stuff? Like we've been talking about social media. A story at the start is more effective than just stating it straight out. And that's what you're trying to get as you read on. Now, this last one that I have is fear. My heart pounded as I stepped onto the stage, the bright lights blinding me and hundreds of eyes staring back. Many people struggle with the fear of public speaking. The first one is engaging. It pulls you in. It puts a picture in your brain of what's going on, and now I want to keep reading. Okay? And you want your teachers to look at your paper right from the start and go, I want to keep reading. Or whatever you're writing an essay for, you want whoever's going to read it to want to keep reading. All right? And so when we're looking at a 5-paragraph essay, this is the first thing in the introduction is the hook. I hope that helps.